When my friend Daniel told me he was going on a 3-week vacation with his cousins, I didn't think much of it. Daniel had always been spontaneous. One day he'd be talking about work deadlines, and the next he'd be packing bags for a road trip. That was just who he was. What I didn't expect was that his absence would quietly change the rhythm of my days, and that an invitation from his mother would turn into one of the most meaningful chapters of my life. Daniel and I had been friends since college. After graduation, we both ended up back in our hometown of Brookdale, a quiet suburban place where everyone seemed to know everyone else. Life there moved slowly, almost gently. Daniel lived with his mother, Margaret, in a modest blue house near the edge of town. I lived alone in a small apartment not too far away. Margaret was the kind of person people instantly trusted. She volunteered at the local library, baked for charity events, and always remembered birthdays. Over the years, she had welcomed me into their home like family, though never crossing boundaries, just warmth, kindness, and simple respect. The day Daniel left, I helped him load his bags into the car. Margaret stood on the porch, waving as he drove away, smiling but with that unmistakable hint of a mother's worry in her eyes. When the car disappeared down the street, she turned to me and thanked me for helping. "Don't be a stranger while he's gone," she said with a friendly laugh. I smiled, nodded, and thought nothing more of it. The first week without Daniel felt oddly quiet. We used to grab coffee after work or talk about random things late into the night. Without him around, my evenings felt longer. One afternoon, as I was heading home from the grocery store, my phone buzzed. It was a message from Margaret. She asked how I was doing and mentioned she had made more soup than she needed. She wondered if I'd like to stop by and take some home. I hesitated for a moment, not out of discomfort, but surprise. Then I realized how normal it was. Margaret had always been generous like that. I replied yes and stopped by her house. That evening turned into a simple conversation over tea. We talked about Daniel's trip, the changing seasons, and how quiet the house felt without him. There was nothing unusual about it, just two people sharing stories and laughter in a calm, respectful space. Before I left, Margaret smiled and said, "You're always welcome here. It's nice not having the house feel so empty." That was the beginning. Over the next few weeks, Margaret occasionally invited me over for dinner or to help with small tasks around the house, fixing a loose cabinet handle, carrying boxes from the garage, or simply keeping her company while she organized old photo albums. Each visit felt natural. There were no awkward moments, no strange conversations, just shared meals, stories from different generations, and quiet understanding. Margaret told me about raising Daniel on her own, about the challenges and joys of watching a child grow into an adult. I listened, gaining a deeper appreciation for her strength. One rainy afternoon, the power went out in the neighborhood. Margaret called to ask if I was okay. When I told her my apartment was dark and cold, she invited me over until the power returned. We lit candles, played a board game, and laughed like old friends. That night, as I walked home under streetlights flickering back to life, I realized something important. Connection doesn't always come from dramatic events. Sometimes it grows quietly from simple kindness. As days passed, I found myself becoming more present, more thoughtful. Helping Margaret reminded me of the importance of community, of being there for people without expecting anything in return. When Daniel finally returned from his trip, sunburned and full of stories, he noticed the change immediately. Margaret looked happier, more energized. I felt more grounded, more at peace. Daniel laughed when his mom told him how often I had stopped by. "Guess I left you two to become neighbors for life," he joked. But beneath the humor was gratitude. He thanked me for being there, for keeping his mom company, for stepping up without being asked. Life slowly returned to normal, but something had shifted. The bond we shared wasn't about circumstance, it was about trust, respect, and genuine care. Looking back, I realized that the unexpected invitation wasn't just about dinner or conversation. It was a reminder that sometimes, when we least expect it, life offers us a chance to grow through simple human connection. And all we have to do is say yes.